Stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and receive this truth with an open heart. What you are about to hear is not just another message among many. It is a heavenly calling. It is a divine interruption in your now. If you've made it this far, know that it wasn't by chance. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't the work of the algorithm. It was God. He's the one who moved all the pieces, aligned the heavens, and led you to this exact moment so that you could hear a revelation that comes straight from the throne of eternity. This is not ordinary. This is not routine. This is a spiritual turning point, a prophetic realignment between what you are living now and what you are about to become. We're not talking about a simple word of encouragement. We're standing before an eternal decree, a divine announcement, a heavenly thunder echoing through the walls of your soul-breaking fear, crushing doubt, silencing every lie that tried to convince you it was too late, that you were too broken, that you had been forgotten. No, chosen one, God has not forgotten you. He is speaking to you now. What you are about to hear is not a spiritual suggestion. It is a confirmation from heaven. It is not a motivational speech. It is an official pronouncement from eternity over your name. Every part of your spirit needs to be alert, because what heaven is about to reveal is exactly what the enemy tried hardest to hide from you. This message is not here to please your ears. It came to ignite your identity, restore your vision, remove the clouds of confusion, and activate what was already dormant within you, but needed God's voice to awaken. The time of doubt is over. The season of waiting is coming to an end, and what comes now is the fulfillment of everything the Lord had already planned for you, long before the battles, long before the falls, long before the delays. Your life is not hanging in the balance of randomness. Your journey is not adrift. You are in God's hands. And when your future is in His hands, no force can stop it. No man can block it. No demon can break it. You have been sealed for victory. And now, you must hear this truth with your whole soul, because it comes to dissolve the fog that was clouding your clarity. It comes to reignite the flame that seemed extinguished. It comes to destroy the lies of hell that said you had already missed your chance. The time has come to align with what heaven has already decreed. The time has come to stop fighting the truth and start walking with it. Because your life is about to shift direction not by human strength, but by divine order, and it all starts now. If all of this is stirring your spirit, write in the comments, 777, I hear the call of God. This is not just a number. It is a seal, a response code, a testimony written in the lines of the unseen declaring, "Here I am." Now, let's move forward, because what God wants to reveal to you today will change everything. Chosen one, listen with deep attention. Your future is not something uncertain, something you have to build from scratch or figure out step by step in fear of making mistakes. It's not a road that depends on your strength to exist. The truth is far more powerful than that, and perhaps it's exactly what your soul needed to hear today. Your future is already finished. It is complete. It is sealed. God is not improvising the next chapters of your story as you walk. He is not waiting to see how you'll react so He can then decide what to do. Your future is a finished work in the heavens. The Bible confirms this clearly in Isaiah 46:10. God declares the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done. This means that before you were even born, before your first breath, God had already spoken about your destiny. He had already declared your victory. He had already sealed the glorious ending you are still walking toward. None of this is new to heaven. All of it has been established since eternity. This truth has the power to destroy every spirit of doubt, every feeling of confusion, every lie that tries to convince you that you're lost. You are not trying to figure out whether your life will work out. You are stepping into something that has already been completed by God. Your path is not a blur, nor a divine improvisation. It is an ordered sequence of eternal purposes that are now unfolding in your timeline. So, when you feel tired of trying to understand the way, remember this: you are not building an uncertain future. You are responding to a calling that has already been declared. You are walking toward a promise that God signed long before the battles even began. Before every battle, heaven had already declared your victory. Before every fall, God had already prepared your restoration. Before every tear, He had already determined the time of your joy. So understand this: you are not wandering without direction. You are being guided towards something that God Himself has already finished. He's not watching your life from afar, waiting to see what will happen. He is the author. He is the architect. He is the sustainer. Your role is to trust. Your mission is to keep going. Because heaven is not unsure about the ending. Heaven has already seen the final chapter. And its title is Victory. Even before you existed in this world, before time marked the very first second of your life, before you breathed, fell, failed, or faced any battle, your victory was already completed. This is one of the most powerful truths your soul needs to absorb today. The God who created you did not start planning your future when you arrived on earth. He was not surprised by your mistakes, nor delayed by your failures. Your victory was declared before your pain. Your restoration was sealed before your fall. Your breakthrough was written before your affliction began. When Isaiah says that God declares the end from the beginning, he is saying that the victorious ending of your story was written long before the first challenge. Your process, no matter how painful it may be, never caught heaven by surprise. This revelation should, right now, break every structure of fear and anxiety still trying to hide inside you. Because if heaven has already seen your victory, if heaven has already declared your breakthrough, if heaven has already written your conclusion, then everything the enemy does is just an attempt to distract you. He may try to delay, confuse, pressure, but he cannot rewrite what the Creator has already finished. Your life is not a sketch, it is an eternal masterpiece. You are simply walking along a road that God has already paved. Even if it feels like you are in the middle of chaos, without direction, without answers, the spiritual truth remains. You are walking a path whose end is already known by the one who created you. That's why it's time to stop asking yourself if things will work out. It's time to stop looking at tomorrow with fear. God has not abandoned you in the middle of the journey. He is not an author who writes only the beginning of the story. He is the author and the finisher of faith. What He started, He completes. What He promised, He fulfills. And everything He wrote about you still stands. No mistake was strong enough to erase the promise. No delay was powerful enough to cancel the destiny. No opposing voice has been able to tear the page of your victory. And if God declared your breakthrough, then it's only a matter of time before you arrive there. Believe this: before your very first breath, your redemption was already determined. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has already finished concerning your life. Your life, no matter how chaotic it may seem at times, is not a rough draft. The story God wrote about you is not left open, waiting for edits. It has already been sealed. It has already been completed. Heaven is not watching the events of your life unfold while trying to patch up mistakes or improvise solutions. What God started in you already has a glorious ending, and that ending is not subject to the enemy's attempts. The devil may try to delay, may try to distract, may even try to confuse you about who you are, but he has no authority to rewrite what God has already signed. The deed of your identity was established by the one who does not lie, who does not go back on his word, and who watches over his word to fulfill it. And when God writes, no power in heaven, on earth, or in hell can erase it. The enemy may try to manipulate the circumstances around you, but he cannot touch what has already been sealed by heaven. He may try to sow doubt, make you believe it's too late, that you've failed too much, that you've strayed too far from the original plan. But the truth is that the original plan remains intact, kept in God, preserved in glory, just waiting for the right moment to manifest. Heaven doesn't work with improvisations. Heaven works with decrees. And there is already a decree over you, a decree of victory, a decree of breakthrough, a decree of glory. And that is why the enemy trembles, not because of your past, but because of what you are about to become. It's time to let this truth settle within you like a rock. You're not trying to build just any future. You're moving toward what God has already completed, and what He has completed, no one can undo. This is the assurance you need to keep walking, even when everything feels dark, even when it seems like nothing is moving. Heaven has already moved. Heaven has already written, heaven has already declared, and the devil does not have permission to touch what God sealed with His own Spirit. You are protected by eternal promises, and they will not fail. You were not born by accident. It wasn't chance that decided your existence. You are not a mistake, nor the result of a biological coincidence. Your life is the result of an eternal decision. Before time even began, God had already seen you. Before you took your first step, heaven had already written every detail of your purpose. This is what the Word reveals with majesty in Romans 8:29-30. For those God foreknew, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son. And those He predestined, He also called. Those He called, He also justified, and those He justified, He also glorified. This is not just a theological statement, it's a heavenly map of your journey. You were known, you were predestined, you were called, you were justified, and you will be glorified. This means your identity is rooted in eternity. Not in your mistakes, not in the labels others gave you, not in the fears you've faced. Heaven has already written your name in the book of glory. Let's simplify it as if we were reading it word by word, with our hearts wide open. Foreknew means God already saw you before anything. He knew your essence, your potential, your pain, your choices, and still He loved you. Predestined means He designed your path with purpose. Nothing is outside the divine script. Called means He summoned you for a mission, a calling that carries responsibility, but also supernatural empowerment. Justified means He already removed every accusation, every guilt, every burden you should no longer carry. And glorified affirms that He has already marked your future with honor, beauty, and victory. This is not something still under review. It is something already determined by the one who holds all things in his hands. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop chasing human validation. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop doubting your worth, because now you know. Heaven knows you. Heaven chose you. Heaven called you, and heaven has already declared a glorious ending for you. This is not a construction of chance. It is divine architecture. And for that reason, even if the world tries to tell you otherwise, even if the winds blow against you, you must remember God has already written about you, and He does not write stories that end in shame. He writes stories that end in glory. If this truth spoke to your soul today, comment below. I was chosen before time. Let this comment be your public declaration of faith, a testimony before the world and a reminder to your own heart. You are not starting from zero. You are simply returning to what heaven has always known about you. Now that you know you were predestined by God, it's time to go deeper and understand the exact meaning of each word heaven used to describe who you are. Because you're not here trying to discover your identity, you are here to remember what heaven has already declared about you. Every term used in the word carries spiritual weight, a truth that confronts lies, breaks chains of confusion, and repositions your soul at the center of God's will. When the Bible says you were known, predestined, called, justified, and glorified, it is not using symbolic or vague language. It is revealing the full cycle of your identity in Christ from eternity past to the glorious future that is already determined. Let's look at this as if we were learning to read again, word by word, but now with our spiritual eyes wide open. To know is more than being aware of who you are. It means God loved you even before you were formed, before you had a name, a story, or a body. It's Him choosing you before you had a chance to prove yourself worthy. To predestine is to plan your path with purpose before you ever started walking it. It means God wrote your story knowing every detail, including your falls, your struggles, even your delays, and still decided to conclude your journey with glory. To call is more than a vocation. It's heaven shouting your name with authority, summoning you to live something that only you can live. To justify is to cancel your debt, erase what accused you, remove all the shame that hell tries to bring back up. And to glorify is to place on you the mark of victory, of heavenly beauty, of divine recognition that no one can steal. You are all of this, even if you're facing difficult days right now, even if you're carrying silent tears, even if you are surrounded by doubts and uncertainties. None of that changes what has been decreed. Your pain has no power to revoke your destiny. Your confusion does not cancel your identity. God still looks at you and says, "You are mine. I knew you. I called you. I justified you. And yes, I, myself, will glorify you." This is the unshakable foundation upon which your faith must rest. Because it doesn't depend on how you feel today. It depends on what God already declared before anything existed. And He does not change. He does not fail. He does not contradict Himself. What He said about you remains firm, and now it's time to start living with that awareness. Right now, you may be walking through one of the hardest phases of your journey. You may be carrying pain that no one sees, facing battles no one understands, and shedding tears that have never fallen before human eyes. Maybe In silence, you've asked God if He still hears you, if He still walks beside you, or if all you've been living is just a long wait without an answer. But listen, with your entire being, you are not stuck. You are passing through a valley, and passing is not the same as staying. The pain you're going through today is not your eternal home. The valley is not your address. It is only a stretch of the road. And the God who leads you through it is also the God who will lead you out. Psalm 23:4 speaks with spiritual depth. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Pay close attention. The verse does not say you should build a house in the valley. It does not say you should settle there. It says you are walking, moving, passing through. This means that no matter how dark it is right now, this darkness will not last forever. This phase does not define your destiny. This pain does not write the final chapter of your story. It is only a temporary setting that will be replaced by the light of the promise. The shadow that surrounds you today is just that, a shadow. It does not have the substance to destroy you. It is the momentary absence of light, but not the absence of God. He is with you even there, even in the silence, even in the confusion, even in the deepest part of the valley. Let this truth sink deep into your soul. The valley is a passage, not a prison. The valley teaches, molds, strengthens, but it does not define. You are being prepared as you walk. Every tear you have shed is being counted. Every prayer you've lifted is being heard. And the God who walks with you through the valley is the same God who will exalt you on the mountain. Your pain will be transformed into testimony, your delays into victories, your silence into songs of gratitude. What looks like an ending is actually a new beginning. And what today seems dark will soon be illuminated by the glory that is coming. You will come out of the valley, and when you do, you'll come out stronger, more aware of who you are, more intimate with God, and more prepared to live what He has already written about you. Maybe you're asking yourself why certain doors haven't opened yet, why some promises still haven't come to pass, why so much effort seems to produce so little fruit. Maybe you feel like your life is delayed, as if time is moving too fast and your answers are taking too long. But listen with your heart wide open. God's delays are not rejections, they are preparations. He's not punishing you. He's shaping you. He's not ignoring you. He's refining you for something that requires maturity, wisdom, emotional, and spiritual structure. There are things you ask God for that out of mercy. He chose not to give you too early, so you wouldn't lose them due to immaturity. Because an unprepared vessel can waste the very blessing it waited so long for. The word confirms this precisely in Habakkuk 2-3. For the vision is yet for the appointed time. It hastens toward the end and will not fail. Though it delays, wait for it will certainly come. It will not delay. At first glance, this may seem like a contradiction. Though it delays, wait for it will not delay. But the contradiction is only apparent. What God is saying is that, from your human perspective, it may look like it's taking too long, but in God's timing, in kingdom time, everything is exactly on schedule. He is never late. He never makes mistakes. He never fails with timing. And when He allows a season of waiting, it's because He's doing an internal work that must be complete before the blessing can be revealed. God is not just preparing what you asked for, He's preparing you to receive what you asked for, and that changes everything. He's maturing your faith, strengthening your character, refining your spiritual vision, teaching you to discern what is truly from Him and what is a distraction. He's expanding your capacity so that when what you've been waiting for finally arrives, You'll have the structure to sustain it, the wisdom to manage it, and the humility to multiply it. Because a blessing without preparation becomes a burden, but a blessing after the process becomes a legacy, and that's what God is doing with you. He's building in silence, forging you in depth, planting in a dry season, so that when the time comes, the fruit will be abundant, visible, and lasting. Nothing you've lived through will be in vain. The waiting time is not wasted time. It's sacred time. It's a time of foundation, and God only builds greatness on firm structures. So don't be discouraged by the delays. They are full of purpose, and what's coming is greater than anything you expected. Trust the process. He's preparing you to carry the weight of the glory that is about to be revealed over your life. You may even think your existence is too small, too limited, too far removed to make any significant difference in the world. But God's vision for your life goes far beyond what your eyes can see. You weren't called just to survive, nor to live within a cycle confined to your immediate surroundings. Your calling has heavenly dimensions. Your journey is connected to destinies far beyond your local environment. You were chosen to impact lives, not just a few, but many. Your life was designed to become a beacon of hope, a lighthouse in the midst of darkness, a living sign of what God can do with someone who surrenders completely to His purpose. Isaiah 60:3 prophetically declares, "Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn." That's not just a beautiful metaphor, it's a spiritual reality already unfolding. And the world will see it. God didn't place in you just a personal purpose. He entrusted you with a collective calling, a mission with global impact. Your testimony will be heard by many. Your story will be told by people who have never met you in person, but who will recognize God's hand when they see where He brought you from. What today seems small, fragile, invisible will, in due time, become a platform of glory for the kingdom. And this is not about fame. It's not about human recognition. It's about spiritual influence. It's about carrying a light that guides, heals, and directs. Your voice will be heard by families, by communities, by entire cities. And not because of your ability, but because you were shaped in the secret place. Because you endured the process. Because you didn't give up when everything around you said to stop. And that is exactly what transforms your journey into a living message. Your pain will be translated into healing for others. Your process will become a roadmap for those who come after you. You've cried in silence when no one was watching. You've felt pressure, exhaustion, and brokenness in places you didn't even know how to name. You've sown in tears, waiting for a harvest that seemed like it would never come. But today, heaven comes to remind you of something that has never ceased to be true. Every tear has an appointed time to be turned into joy. Not a single one of your pains has gone unnoticed by God's eyes. Not a single groan of your spirit was ignored. Not one dark night was forgotten. Psalm 126 declares with strength, "Those who sow in tears shall reap with joy. He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy." This means that your harvest doesn't depend on your mood, your strength, or your season. It depends on the God who saw your weeping, who counted your tears, and who has already written your reward. And it will come. You will laugh again. You will dance again. You will wake up to a tomorrow where everything that once seemed impossible will be your new reality. And more than that, your story will no longer be just your own. It will become an answer to other lives. You will be the one who restores buried dreams, who reignites faith in wounded hearts, who opens doors where before there were only walls. You will be the bridge between the despair of many and the miracle of God. The world will see in you a living testimony. It will see in your scars the marks of victory. It will see in your breakthrough the hand of the one who never abandoned his own. And those who once heard your broken voice in the depths of the valley will now hear the sound of your laughter in the fullness of the promise. Because your comeback will be public. Your restoration will be visible. Your glory will be undeniable. God will use your life to prove that He never forgets those who trust in Him, even when everything seems lost. So do not forget this. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of what God always planned. No matter how many dark days you've faced, the Sun of Righteousness is already rising over you. And when you look back, you will realize it was in that valley, in that silence, in that pain, that God rewrote your story with His own hands. You are the miracle someone was waiting for. You are the light someone needs to see. You are the new beginning that many will witness. And the world will bow before the glory that rests upon you, not because of your strength, but because of the faithfulness of the one who began the good work and will never fail to complete it. If this message touched your heart, comment right now. God is rewriting my story. Write it as a prophetic act, as a testimony of faith. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, subscribe now. Because messages like this aren't just words, they are divine encounters, reminders from heaven that you have never been alone, and there is still so much more to come. Chosen one, if you've made it this far, know this: it is no coincidence. You are being revealed now, because the world needs your light. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay strong. God is just getting started.